Hey, it's Karina Reichman, and you are listening to Comes a Time with Oteil Burbridge and Mike Fenoya. If you're digging the podcast, do these guys a favor and review and subscribe. It means a lot. Be sure to follow the pod on social media, YouTube, and if you're joining for bonus episodes and exclusive content, go to patreon.com/comesatimepod and get on the bus. And now, here's Mike and Oteil.
Can I ask you about your meeting with Phil? Can we talk about it?
Oh man, that was so great. Wow, I don't even know where to start. The coolest thing with I think they call it Terrapin Clubhouse now. He bought like this warehouse and he brought some of the wood from Terrapin Crossroads, so it's lining I think two of the walls now, and they're about to bring some more, put up some more, so it has that sweet sound and that connection, you know. But he's doing the thing called a Dark Starathon, so everybody comes in, all these different musicians, and they pick up where the last jam left off.
Ooh.
And play their little section, and then so I was on drums for this.
Okay.
Because Jason was going in to play it. And so it's me, Jason, Lebo, and Graham, and Phil.
I love Graham.
It was, yeah. Oh, he's so
cool.
I want to say that kid. It's like they're not kids anymore, you know. He's such a sweethearted. When they have the phrase "gentleman," that's what he is. He's a gentleman. Like,
yeah.
Seriously.
I was walking off stage at the Cellar one time, and I hear Fenoya, and I turn around, and he's there with his buddies. Yeah. And he's like, dude, I didn't know you were going to be on tonight. This is great. And I was at Terrapin Crossroads interviewing him for Amigos, my old podcast. Yeah. And we were just sitting bullshitting. And I'm like, anytime you're in New York, man, come by the Cellar. Like, let me know if you're there. And he didn't let me know, but he just showed up, and we sat and bullshitted afterwards. It was super cool. Yeah, he's great.
He's great, man. All those guys are great. They're all that. It's like a race of people, of gentle men. Because Phil is that. So is Lebo.
Yeah.
So's Jason. There's
Crosby's
all of them
too. Yeah, they're all so cool.
Jerry's like that. You know, he's just like a gentle guy. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was so cool. The vibe was beautiful, man. And Phil, you know, I could tell he's getting old physically, but his mind is so sharp, man. Like, yeah, we had the most fun conversations. We're just laughing so hard. And Jason and I actually went to his house, hung out with him and Jill. He's got the most beautiful view in the entire state.
Oh, really?
It's so great, man. But it was really great hanging. It was great to play drums with him, play on Dark Star. We just left the planet, you know.
Sure.
Started out, gone, and yeah, it was just so fun. A great day, whole day. We got there, I think, around 1 or something, and it was funny, man. I got to ask him some things that I can't even tell on the podcast.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask. I was figuring you would say what you could, but that's a serious.
Well, I mean, it was funny. It was just about one thing, but it was really cool. You know, it's nice to be in that position because you always think like there's certain people where you're like, boy, I really wish I could ask them this, and it's like, actually, today, right at this second, I can't.
You turn into like a little kid reporter.
Yeah, well, you just got to go for it because you're like, you've been curious.
What other chance do you have?
For a really long time.
Right.
And so it's great to be like, I knew it.
That's so cool. I knew it.
Confirmation from the horse's mouth.
Was it like because you never really hung with him prior, right? Is that kind of like a...
No, actually, he was the only one, because when I met Phil right after Alan Woody died.
Okay.
Because he came and played the Roseland and did one for Woody.
Okay.
I think Clementi started with Rat Dog the same year that I started with the Allman Brothers Band. And I think that was the same year that Matt Bush started with
97, right?
Government Mule. Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing happened in 97. This
I
huge,
graduated high school.
this shift. See, it's weird. Like when you look back.
I met Kesey in 97.
Right? When you look back and you see like, oh, all these things happen in 97, like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Right? Some kind of shift. Yeah.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
love it, man.
Totally.
So that's when I met Phil. And periodically, like the next time, well, actually, the first time I met him, I'm trying to think what year did Jerry die? I'm not, you could tell.
95. August 9th, 95.
So this is before I met Phil before then.
Oh, wow.
I think it was 96. Okay, Oteil and the Peacemakers was touring with Bruce Hornsby. And we played the Fillmore West.
Okay.
Bob came out and Phil came out. And that was the first time they played together in front of an audience since Jerry died.
Whoa.
And Phil almost didn't do it because he didn't have a bass with him. And so they said, well, this guy Oteil plays modulus. And he has like 5 of them on stage because they had just given me a bunch of them. And even though I wasn't playing them all, I would bring them all and set them all up on stage because that's the first time I had an endorsement like that and and they were all gorgeous, dude. They were so beautiful, brand spanking new. So here's how I met Phil. This is great. Up top at the Fillmore on the 2nd floor, they don't have all the lights on. So in that corridor, when you're going through to back where the dressing rooms are,
right,
I fucking slam into this guy. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, man. I turned around and just like started walking full speed and practically knock him over. And then I see the light hits his face. It's Phil. I was like, oh shit.
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, man. I'm Oteil, by the way. And he's like, oh, I heard you might have a bass I could play. I was like, actually, yeah. So now I'm like, sweet, I can make up for just like knocking the shit out of him, you know? I was like, I got like four or 5 of them, man. Any one you want, it's yours. So that, and then I have a picture of him playing my bass that night.
Wow.
It made the paper.
Oh, because it was the first time. Yeah.
So I clipped it, and I was like, sweet, I got a picture of Phil playing. And then I have a picture with
paper.
With the I have it because I just saw it the other day. And then I have a picture that I took with him and Jill in the dressing room backstage at the Fillmore. So that was the first time. And then I saw him again at One for Woody. We played together on stage. I got a picture of that too. 2 basses.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I had got to interact with him actually before, because I don't think I did BK3 with Kreutzmann
that was 2000, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think 05 maybe.
Yeah, it was definitely
it was after that. Yeah, it was after.
Was 7 Walkers after BK3?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
And
wow,
Billy
man.
Kids. Yeah,
pretty wild.
But yeah, Phil and I he was always so sweet to me. Always, always, always. I think he appreciated the fact that I played 6-string and that I was a modulus guy. I mean, he liked my playing too. I know that, he told me.
Yeah.
But we were always super cool. I would go see him at like Terrapin Crossroads and we would just hang individually, but I wouldn't post it and all that stuff.
Sure. I understand.
But now I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's,
what
the fuck, right? I mean, really. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I've been doing this 10 years now. Like, me and Phil have been cool since friggin', 96.
It's an awkward thing. I mean, dude, it's like, I mean, that's a hard thing. I put anybody in your position. It's not a fun roll.
I went through it with the Allman Brothers. Like,
that's what I was gonna say.
when
If
Dickie
anybody
left,
knows
you know,
how
it
to
was
do
like,
if anybody knows how to do it, it's you. Dealing with, like you kind of walk in and
poor
go,
Mayor was like, how do you deal with this? I was like, man, I did the Allman Brothers for 17
this
years.
is old hat.
I
dude.
got this. I could do Pink Floyd now, the Eagles, you name it. Bring
Who's
it on.
next?
Yeah, bring it on.
Oteil in Nirvana. I
I'm
could do
built
Pink
for this
Floyd.
shit now.
That's hilarious.
I'm like
You're
the
gonna be playing
Navy
with
SEAL
Gilmore.
of fucking.
You're the closer, dude. You're the closer. You come in and fucking pitch till the end. That is hilarious.
It's
My God,
weird.
which
That
one's
is my
next?
career. Thank you, because I've won. Usually you go play with your heroes and stuff.
Yeah, you're the closer.
And I never did that. I'm like, all my friends, they went and played with Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter and Zawinul and all, McLaughlin and Chick Corea and I just never did it. But that's what I am. I'm the closer.
You're the closer. They go to the bullpen and they go, "We need a 6-stringer. Come in." And there you come. Yep.
I wish somebody could tell you that when you're young, like that.
Yeah, that would be nice, huh?
You think you're going to be this, but you're going to be that, or just tell you that it's not going to be the same. Just, you don't have to tell me what it is. Just be like, yeah, all that shit that you think, like, none of that's going to.
Well, maybe that's the role of a good, that's the role of a good parent, is to go, hey, everything you think is going to happen, it's not. But keep doing what you're doing.
But society tells us to do the exact opposite.
Yeah, but look where that's got us.
But it makes me think, okay, say I did do that. Like, you got to decide now at 17 what your life path is going to be. And by 22, you have to be married. And by 25, you have to have kids. Blah, blah, blah. What if I just had taken that path? Like, what if everybody that said, because this is what Colonel Bruce said to me. Everybody said, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to take this path. And I'm going to play with all my heroes and I'm going to do that. Like, they did what I'm jealous of. What if they didn't do that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I'm the parent that's going to be like, yeah, Nigel, like, fuck all that shit.
Dude,
I do it kind of now. Everybody's like, oh, you got to save up for college. I'm like, really? I'm not so sure about that. I'm the only one in my family to not go to college, and I'm doing great. I think Nigel, if he finds what he's into, and then I also tell him what Colonel Bruce said, like, hey, man, what you think you're going to be is like right here. And it's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. It took me until meeting Keezy, which was my senior year. The moment I graduated high school, I remember my dad going like, what union do you want to join? Do you want to be electrician, plumber, HVAC? Because he's like, I could get you in with the electrical. And I'm like, huh?
What union?
I'm like, the fish union? I don't know. Can I go on whatever gets me out of here and on the road with fish? But then I struggled. Wow. I struggled through college, dude, struggled. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything. And then I went to Keezy and he was like the first, like, whatever, I don't know, elder statesman.
He's like your Colonel Bruce.
You could do anything you want. Yeah. You could do anything you want. You're here now with me grocery shopping. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
You could be here now. You know who that was for Colonel Bruce? Was Sun Ra. I saw an interview where he said it. He said, I went to see Sun Ra and he didn't even talk to him. He just came out of there and his thought was, I didn't know I was allowed to do that.
That's it. That's it right there. Dude, stay there for a second. I didn't know I was allowed to. If your kids know they're allowed to dream and if they know they're allowed to fail and allowed to like go at their own pace and be judged, it's okay to be judged.
It's okay.
Like they're being judged out of fear. So like they wish they were as free as you. So
and the best parenting tip I heard on Instagram recently, this lady said, my dad would come home from work and ask us, what'd you guys fail at today?
Oh,
this is in a positive way, right?
Of course.
Because that means, what did you try today that you didn't do before?
Yep.
How did you push yourself today into an area that you haven't pushed yourself yet?
Nobody gets that, dude. Nobody gets that,
dude. I'm going to do that. starting today.
Yeah. What'd you try
real.
today? What'd you fail at today?
They have that,
Yeah.
and I think it's at their school is like a Montessori school,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it has a thing up there that says, "If you can't make a mistake, you can't make anything."
Wow.
I was like,
That's so true, dude.
"Woo!
It's so
Come
true.
on!"
Think about how many kids, right? Like this whole like student loan epidemic, which it is an epidemic, that
I
billions and
cried.
billions and billions of dollars. Dude, we were sold education when I was in
I know.
school. They
Yep.
came in and they go, "Hey, here's a picture of a garbage man. You want to be him?"
Yeah.
Like there's something wrong with that. Go like,
Exactly.
like you better go to
Exactly.
college. You better take the SATs. You better. Oh, and by the way, the price of SATs is going up. And then, oh, by the way, the price of tuition's going up. But the minute you get to campus, MasterCard has a booth set up where you get
So
three
you can.
free Bob Marley posters if you sign up for a credit card. So now it's just a
Wow.
debt machine,
Wow.
dude. Right?
And we know debt, it's the new slavery.
Oh
That's where
God.
you signed up for it. You
Yes.
volunteered for that
Yep.
shit.
They go, you didn't read that thing? So then
Yeah.
I want you to look at how many people are using their degree. Like nobody,
Yeah.
dude, nobody. And that's the thing that like everybody needs to know when at the youngest of ages is just like, yo, I'm still figuring it out. You're the person that
Yeah.
thinks I have it all figured out, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
I didn't start really figuring it out. This is to my, shame until I was like 40.
Yeah.
But, it's like it's built, the midlife crisis is built into our society.
Right.
Midlife crisis is the proof that what they told you at the beginning was wrong. because
Yeah.
or else because it's that point where it didn't go that way.
Yeah.
And if it did go that way, you don't feel at all about what you thought it was going to be compared to what it actually is. And
Yeah.
there's a crisis between those two things.
Yeah. So you better start
Whichever way
spending
they
that
went.
money that you've been saving. It's time to buy a sports
you
car. Time to buy a boat.
You see all these people now changing. They look at well, okay, I want to make partner. Well, look at those partners. You want to be that guy? He's fucking miserable. Sorry,
Yeah.
Nigel. He has no relationship with his kids, wife, himself.
Yep.
He has nothing but
Himself.
more. I need more and more, make more and more. No happiness, no
I
joy.
do hope I do hope that there's a shift in the paradigm of like,
There
and we're
is.
speaking specifically like from the male experience here too. You know what I mean? Like I do feel like I'm seeing more and more men going, I thought I had this figured out and I don't know shit. I'm sorry, no, I don't know anything.
I got nothing.
I got nothing, and
That
I
was
need
me
to
at
start
40.
over. Yeah, dude.
That
And
was
it's
me
the
at 40. I was
surrendering.
like, I tap.
Bro, I'll tell you the truth.
Can't get out of the ditch.
I did so many jobs I hated prior to stand up. I figured out that stand up, like that moment, the light went on, and I was like, oh. And then not long after, filed bankruptcy, so I could go like follow because I had to.
Best thing ever.
And it was like start over, and that's it. And it was literally
It's like an addict hitting bottom. It's like it looks like the worst thing. It's actually the best thing.
Best thing ever.
Sometimes jail is the best thing that ever happened to someone.
Yeah. You take
And
on
they'll
someone
tell you.
else's debt.
Yeah.
They leave. You're stuck with it. You're like, am I going to spend the rest of my life cleaning up somebody else's shit or
Yep.
what? And then it was like, oh wow, I can actually, I don't have
Start
to
over.
tread water anymore, But you're right. Like having the relationship with yourself, I think is like, that's the most important thing. That's so important. That's so important because look, if Nigel goes on to be a marine biologist, a surfer, a excavator, a construction worker,
Or all the above.
all the above, dude, if you're happy, it's just that baseline. I like
what makes
me.
you happy? You know, one of the things he said he wanted to be, because I think he's actually going to be an engineer. He loves to build things, and it could be out of paper, cardboard, magna blocks. Like we haven't let him with hammer and nails yet, but as soon as that's safe. It's going to be that,
Yeah.
or 3D printing. But he also wants to be a baker. He's like,
Really?
I
No
want to do
kidding.
engineering, but can I also be a baker? I was like, yes, the Da Vinci was not going to be confined to one thing. You could do 10 things. Like, you don't have
So
to do just
Nigel's going to be
one
the
thing.
first person to make gingerbread apartment complexes and gingerbread skyscrapers.
Dude, if his inventions on Minecraft, you saw the floating house made out of mushrooms. Here he comes, bro.
Here he comes.
Gingerbread
Con.
apartment. He will do it. I swear to God, he'll do it.
Gingerbread skyscrapers. I want it. I'm in. I'll invest in them. It's so nuts, dude. And it's just so, but his sky's literally the limit for, I mean, there's a kid who can
wait, dude.
I remember taking an architectural drafting class when I was a kid, and I always was landscape architecture was always my favorite thing. Looking at
Jess did that for a while.
landscape
She
architecture.
studied landscape architecture.
It's
Yes,
so
she did in
fun,
Athens,
dude.
Georgia.
Oh, it's the best. But it was the math dyslexia thing that got me. Like, you give me the tools and you give me a couple days, I'll make it look beautiful. I know what plants should go where, but if I have to start looking at the grade and the pitch and the topography and the equations of it all just to prove to a teacher that I know how to do it, I'm out. But I would like run a landscaping crew and like look at a lawn and go, all right, this tree should go here, this should go here. Like, I love that shit. But I was so
that's
nervous.
Pure creative stuff.
So nervous about the numbers and so nervous about the so if he's like building on computers and all that already, it's like, dude, he's a million steps ahead.
The stuff that he built in Minecraft, like, Jess is really floored, and I know because she has that background of, she's great on computers, she's great with all the technical stuff as well as the creative stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like you. It's like, I don't know what scale length my bases are.
Just let me play, dude.
Yeah. I do know the gauges of the strings, but that's all I got for you,
Yeah.
But Nigel really has both. I'm glad he got that from Jess, that he has the technical mind also from being an Aquarius and full on creative. I mean, he's the most creative. He's writing songs all the time now, dude. It's so funny. I'm like, cool. You're such a musician. Stop it. So I caught him playing drums on the iPad on the floor of the car. He took Kavi's iPad and pulled up a drum. I was like, I had you a real drum set. But it doesn't matter. Both these kids. Kavi's the same way. She's going to be a gymnast and a hairstylist, and there was one other thing because I told her the Da Vinci thing too. She's got about 4.
Wow, it's amazing. That's super cool. Dude, I can't wait to see what they pull off. I wish you could invest in like the future in the sense of like, I wish you could put an investment on kids or an investment on like the next generation, and just be like,
that's how we look at it.
Yeah,
honestly, that's
I guess
literally
that's being a parent, right?
That's how we look at it. It's like,
it's
that whole thing that they got wrong in the Bible about we're supposed to dominate it. No, we're supposed to be stewards.
Yeah, dude.
Adam and Eve were supposed to be stewards, and it says that they're supposed to take care of this thing. And so that's how we look at it. Like, these aren't even our kids.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? They're their own kids, and we're the stewards of them. We owe it to them and to whoever is going to be left with them after we die and leave.
Some believe that they chose you, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are some. I'm reading a book or listening to a book that was recommended by my friend. Shout out Christina Hutchinson. Many Lives, Many Masters.
Oh yeah, dude.
Are you familiar with that book?
I almost just ordered that book.
I think I sent that to you. Dr. Brian Weiss. He was he was a psychologist or psychiatrist, and he had a client that just couldn't get better. Depression and like bad anxiety and sadness and all the things that they thought would work weren't working. And then they started going via hypnotherapy into past life regression and stuff. Man, like pinpoint, like, and she's an Egyptian goddess. She's a like a witch in the 1600s. I'm just paraphrasing, but it's like
Yeah.
every detail though was like dead on, like it literally like could be traced, and it's just amazing.
I'm pretty sure it's the University of Virginia that has the study, so you could go on Google Scholar and find it. Even if it's not that, even if I have the university wrong. But I think it got up to over 1,700 kids that they did. Kids will remember how they died
Mm.
and who they were in more details when they're kids before they get brainwashed into, or
Adulthood.
distracted
Yeah.
or both, right? And they just kept having incredible results. Like,
Yeah.
yes, we found this guy. That is the address he lived at. This is what he looked like. A lot of them is like he died because he got struck in the head, on the right temple, and then they'll have a big mark on their right temple.
Yeah.
Or if he got shot, they'll have a scar where he got shot.
Amazing.
It's like a birthmark,
Jeez.
but
Yeah,
it's a clear, like
Jeez,
that's
that's
exactly where this
wild.
dude got killed.
Yeah.
And he's got a big old mark as a baby, right there. And I think they got up to like over 1,700 kids where they like verified it 100% everything that the kid said.
Right. Right.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That's bananas.
There was one where
that's just the University of Virginia.
That's just that. Yeah. And
what
those are the
about
ones
China?
we know, right? Yeah. I know. What about England? What about Ireland? What about? Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. There was one where this child goes like, you're much nicer than my other mommy or something.
Mm.
And they were like, what do you mean? She's like, well, the one that left me at the park. And she was like, what are you talking about? And then they went through and said, like, this kid was alluding to a recent child that got abducted and killed at a park. And this kid described in full detail the mother, the park, the experience, the whole thing. And it like almost like tied a bow on that crime. And they were like, wow, yeah, no, this is too real for them to know. Like, where would that kid even access that information? Like in
no way.
Yeah.
Hey, God, newsflash, comes to time, fans. All detective, parts of police departments use psychics. They use the good ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
They use the good one. Psychics are just like anybody else. There's really bad musicians. And there are musicians that you just can't not figure out. You're watching a miracle.
Right.
You're watching magic. There's nothing to account for how Art Tatum did what he did.
Right.
There's a scientific thing now that they call a Tatum because it's so fast.
No kidding.
They named it after Art Tatum, right?
Wow, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
I mean, some are really, really good. Gene Dixon was a psychic that probably advised 4 or 5 presidents.
Yeah.
Gene Dixon's the one that predicted Trump was going to be president.
Yeah.
And Nixon wrote that note to Trump that Trump has hanging up there saying, my wife predicts that you'll be president one day, but it wasn't his wife. It was Gene Dixon. Nixon, right?
Yeah.
So psychics are used. All these detective agencies use them.
Yeah.
Ingo Swann did it for detective agencies. They get burnt out because, like, how many murder scenes can you look at?
Right.
But they solve a lot of cases all over the country. Folks, stop it.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
It's hilarious. It's so
They've
crazy.
They've been doing it forever.
Yeah. Dude, I want to tell you a quick I want to tell you an interesting tale. I think we may have spoke of it quickly in the past couple. We've been briefly chatting. The new ketamine place that I've been visiting, it's an incredible place, and they do intramuscular versus intravenous. So it's a shot versus a IV thing. So you kind of get it all at once, and it's nice.
Does it come on stronger because it's all at once?
Yeah.
He's like, yep.
Yeah. It does.
Need a little seatbelt for that.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So the way it works is like essentially it's like you do like some deep, heavy breathing into it, and then you get the shot, and then you by like the third breath, you're kind of like, you know, um, I, there's a couple different rooms at this place that you go to. It's not as sterile and as, by sterile, I mean, it's not so like
Like doctor's
hospital room.
office-y.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Way more
Clinical.
yes, that's the word. It's not as clinical. It's a little more comfortable. Right across the hall from the rooms that you do the ketamine in is a room of couches where you just walk in and flop down and talk. Immediate integration.
Yeah.
It's great. So I feel like I needed the first way of doing it before doing it this way, because now I can manage whatever happens.
Yeah.
It was this is I'm telling the story of the second time that I went to this place, and it was right after I went to fish at the Sphere. And I walk into the
Nice.
room, and there's a bed, there's blankets, there's pillows, there's an eye mask, there's a table with, you know, sage and everything. There's two chairs for the two sitters. One's a therapist, one's the nurse practitioner that you know, does the injection. And they both sit there the whole time. They're controlling the music. I looked at the wall, and there was a picture of a sphere, a purple sphere with all of these like ancient Greek like gods and goddesses standing along the sides, like there is at the Venetian. And all of these different like squid like amazing artistry that looked exactly like what fish had on the wall of the Sphere, all in this picture. It was a very like David Lynch Twin Peaks moment where it's like I'm looking at a picture of the thing that I'm about to, you know, like I'm like, this is too much. And I've been, one of the things I've been working on lately with my, you know, stuff, because I think you're never not working on yourself.
That's for sure.
Is relinquishing control. Like if there are things I can't control, don't try to control them. Just let it go.
Yeah.
And not be so, I need it this way, I need it that way, and no better time to try that than in a psychedelic experience, when you're sort of like, okay, I'm getting this needle and whatever's going to happen happens.
By definition, not
literally like going, here's the keys, you know? And because one of the times I did the larger doses of psilocybin, I was comparing it to the time before.
Yeah.
She had the speaker on my left. Then this time it was at the bottom right. And I'm like, no, why is the speaker over there? I need it. And I'm like, what am I, a baby? Like, come on. And I didn't have a good trip. So I've been trying more and more to just like, you know, okay, let things go. And I'm looking at the sphere on the wall, and I'm like, okay, this is a good omen. And I'm going in. And so she goes, any particular music you might, and I go, no, I trust you. I said, my intention was relaxation for this one. And the music that they chose was not right. It was very heavy, techno-y, kind of like, it had a deep, like, club beat to it, which I don't like any time of the day. It's not my thing. So I had a little bit of a clunky sort of experience. I'd say it was the opposite of relaxing. And
I'm kind of surprised you wouldn't want to pick your own music.
Well, normally I do. Normally I'm profoundly anal when it comes to music.
That's what I would have thought. You'd be like, dude, I need Jerry or Trey and fuck all the rest of that stuff.
So that's the thing.
Sorry,
so check this out. This is what's interesting. Now I realize this is why letting go of control, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And this little sprint sucked. Let's say I twisted my ankle.
That part,
right?
Yeah, that part wasn't good.
But coming out of it, now with ketamine, you kind of, I didn't like the music, but I already was feeling the ketamine. So I couldn't go, hey, time out. Change this, because if I thought to do that, I would have just been like swinging my arm. Like it wouldn't. You can't really do anything. So coming out of it, I just start like, you know, they go, tell us about the experience, and I'm like, the music was not, you know, like what I really was liking, and I didn't. And she goes, yeah, you said Grateful Dead a couple times during your. So I guess when I was in my trip, my way of going like time out was I just start going Grateful Dead. Like I was trying to like summon the Grateful Dead, right? And she goes,
well, at least they know, well, next time that happens, please put some on.
please put some Grateful Dead on. So I start chatting with her and I go, she goes, are you a fan? I go, I worship the Grateful Dead. I go, it's my favorite thing since I was 10 years old. I go, in
My
fact,
happy place.
yeah, I'm like, I do a podcast with the gentleman who's currently playing bass. And she goes, Oteil? And I go, yeah. She goes, I've been seeing the Grateful Dead since the early 80s. She's like, I
Wow.
bring my daughter to shows, blah, 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 like all
Wow.
this cool stuff. And she goes, and now I'm like, still on ketamine. So it's like everything's a mind blow. So I go, hey, how do you feel about me maybe us co-curating a Grateful Dead playlist for next time? So like I go, because I really have to say, if I could give any feedback,
More Jerry.
More Jerry. Music is literally
it
the tracks, the train. When you're in an altered state, if the wrong music comes on, it's bad. And if the right music comes on, dude, it is.
I mean,
it'll change. It'll rewire.
Setting all by itself, right?
It is. So music is just so important. And I asked her, I said,
and to the other patients like you that come in later,
that
they
are
could
maybe
just be
scared
like,
to ask.
Jerry, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we got the perfect playlist.
Yep, we got a 74 bird song that's going to blow your brain apart.
The gift that keeps on giving.
And that's why I said, I'm like, when you go to a float tank, they have a selection of, you can listen to birds chirping, you can listen to a thunderstorm, you can listen to violins, you can listen to anything that you do, there's music. We're going into our subconscious, like have something more give people a menu where it's like, how are you feeling anxious? Maybe classical violin and piano would be perfect for you right now. There was times when I was going during my regular, treatments where I listened to literally birds chirping in the forest, and it was what I needed.
I listen to that a lot now. Remember we had Jesus and his dad on the podcast?
Yeah.
He just sent me this thing. He texted me a thing of birds, all these different birds, and there's 2 CDs of it. And man, when I put it in the car with the kids, it's no arguments. It's just like, it's a big reset. I listened to it in my, I got a new little teeny electric Mini Cooper.
Okay.
I buzz around in. And man, I listen to those bird CDs more often than other stuff.
It's great. It's so fun and it's so nice. And like I sit in the backyard.
Me calm.
Yes, dude. And it's real. It's like real music. It's like earth music. It's animals making music. And I love it. True. And it's peaceful. But then there are times where, I listen to violin and it made me violin sounds to me in the subconscious like purging tears. Like violin somehow makes me feel like you just bawl your eyes out to this shit, And then there's acoustic guitar, classical guitar that is like brings me to like the desert, and I'm walking through the sand, and I can't so the point is that it's like I told them, so having this shit experience with techno, right? I'm like, why would you decide? Like, if I go to a restaurant, I'm not going to just go, hey, you pick. You know what I mean? So it's like giving up control for once made me realize, no, I need to control this more. I need to set the control so I don't have to.
It's curating.
Yes. So I think for anybody that's doing any type of exploration in that way, be proactive with your curation, because it literally helps me get to the place that I think I need. Listen, if you cut my brain open, there's Grateful Dead in there. If you squeeze my brain, it's
gonna come out.
It's gonna come out. There's pig pens in there. So it's like but I want to go through and find songs that are, because lyrics on ketamine, it's hard. You get wrapped up. That part's hard.
Yep.
So I got to find a good long dark star or a good long eyes or something like that.
Long jams.
Long jams. But it was a fun experience to kind of, have to go ugly to get beautiful.
It is all good. I mean, and that's really it's so true about life in general. You know, it's always, I mean, look at Reinhardt. He was in a fire and it fused uh, two of his fingers together. So he couldn't use them. So he had to keep playing guitar with just his index and middle finger.
Jesus. Yeah.
And he sounds technically much better with just after the accident.
Yeah.
Like having to overcome it. I mean, it's just, I really think that's the whole thing about whatever this dimension that we're in. And the fact that, you know, that entropy is always happening.
Yeah.
Like the decay.
Yeah.
Like, so there's this burgeoning that's there. You start out like an explosion, you know, and then at a certain point, you're going to decay. But this force working against you is the whole reason that we come here, for that creative tension, I guess.
Sure.
Because we learn from it and we get better for it. And so it's just like, so I just have to accept that I need to be thankful for all the dark shit.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and also it's interesting too, like from that idea of musicianship, right? Like, because, you know, Fish is about to put out another album, right? And the songs are written more. Trey's not 19-year-old, like lightning fingers Trey, but it's opened up a portal to more heartfelt lyrics, let's say, or you know what I mean? So it's like
been through some shit.
Right. So you can't do that when you're trying to do this. Like, so just it gives you, so like while the atrophy happens, the maturity also and the growth in other places happens. And that's pretty cool. You learn patience, I think, you know?
It's just like leaves. I think about it all the time. Fall.
Yeah.
When they begin to die is when their utter beauty is just released.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And that's what me and Trey were talking about. It's like, you know, if you can make it this far, this is when, this is the fall. This is when all the fall colors come. That was the time for the lightning fast. That's when we're coming on, when we're exploding out of the womb, you know, when we're growing. We're like, we have more power than the entropy.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, that gravity's going to get you, you know? It's going to get you, man.
The thunder don't get you. Lightning will.
Dude, exactly.
I know. Well, man, I'm super excited to get together with you and hang in person. It's been far too long, and we're gonna rock it out. So
we're gonna spot some aliens and hybrids.
Yeah,
while we're at it.
We got a lot of time, dude. We got nothing but time. Thank you everyone for listening. Go to the Sphere. Check out all of our live dates, MikeFinoia.com, OteilBurbridge.com. We got a lot of stuff happening. So come say hi on the road, everyone.
Yeah, Mike's gonna be is it Comedy Cellar, Las Vegas?
Yes. I'll be at the Cellar in Vegas the whole week of June 17th to the 23rd. So, and I'm going to try to race out of there and catch second set of Sphere. So if I can make it happen. Love you all. See you soon.
Peace.
Peace.